What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tay Wap. You can call me Tay, whichever one you prefer, man. You know the vibes. Listen, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I got a lot. I got a lot on my mind about both of these games, but it's the Sixers game in particular, right? The Sixers game in particular really had me feeling some type of way. Granted, disclaimer, full disclaimer. I have no horses in this race whatsoever. I'm a Bulls fan. You feel me? So at this point, I just want to see great basketball, competitive basketball be played, and I want to see the guys that I support do well in these moments. You feel me? But outside of that, I can't say I want one team or another to necessarily win this series. I guess I could say I would rather see Boston go on, but that's a different conversation. That don't have nothing to do with today. So look, Boston versus Philly, game 4, overtime. Philly 116-115. Man, oh man, I don't even know where to start. So I guess I'll start with a slight recap, right? Overall, this game was pretty competitive throughout the game. Now, Philly came out early and punched Boston in the mouth. But it was something in that run that didn't feel like they got a good punch. You know what I'm saying? They punched them in the mouth for sure, but it won't flush. You feel me? Because Boston was still in it for the whole game, you know? And you get that slow start from Jason Tatum, and that's been happening some. And he started what, 0 for 8 before he made his first shot going into the second quarter. Now you get that type of start from Tatum, yet you only up about 9 points, 12 points ish, somewhere around that area. When in that circumstance, you would really honestly like to put your foot on the gas, but. Boston, credit to them, they were able to keep it close when Jason Tatum was struggling. Jaylen Brown got off to a great start. He scored 13 of their first 19 points. He was aggressive, got downhill, created some shots for himself, started getting other guys involved. Malcolm Brogdon came in and he played a great game. There was some, I'm gonna get into that later. I ain't even gonna do it. But Malcolm Brogdon was giving him some things. You was getting some from Marcus Smart. And ultimately, they was able to keep this game close throughout the game, and to the point where they made a run late. And just looking at it, that fourth quarter, it was a 24-15 fourth quarter Boston, right? Now the game got close, and this is where my thoughts and my issues for both teams start to come in at, right? Game gets close down the stretch of the game. Now Tatum does heat up, and he does start to get things going. But in the midst of this, Philly takes that lead back late. And Tatum, he made plays. He had 18 rebounds. He affected the game in other ways. He got some assists. He made some big defensive plays, got a couple of blocks on some layups. He hit a big step back 3 that was very controversial, that had Doc Rivers in the press conference, but it's just from both sides. It was so questionable to me, because on one side you have bad coaching and execution by Boston, which I'm about to get into, but then on the flip side with Philly, you're getting a vintage Doc Rivers performance, a blown lead, and I'm not gonna get into it, but man, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's all if you gonna accept that or not. But if you know, you know, man. That's you put on a vintage performance. But I'm gonna say where my problems come in at, right? With both of these teams, and I'm gonna start with Boston. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Jaylen Brown fan. I'm gonna try to keep that to the side for the moment and speak on behalf of the schematic and their approach going down the stretch of the game. Really the whole second half, but particularly the fourth quarter and overtime, you're going possessions at a time, 5, 6 possessions at a time, and Jaylen Brown is not getting touches. Now, I understand you want to make a concerted effort to make sure that Jason Tatum gets in a rhythm or gets in some type of rhythm. You feel me? But it's really funny how Jaylen Brown had 13 of their first 19. He only ended up with 16 shots. Tatum had 20 shots. And again, Tatum, you want to make sure he gets involved because you don't put this team together. You don't have this team for it to be Jaylen Brown and the other guys or Jason Tatum and the other guys. You have them both because you need them both at their best for you to be able to be the best team you can possibly be. And I felt like they were kind of holding him back. And it's just like when the ball did touch his hands, good things happened. Now in that fourth quarter, there was a lot of times where they were getting blocks, getting out in transition, Jason Tatum getting out in transition, and it created some layups, created some three-pointers. But ultimately, Philly was still able to weather that storm, and they still were able to go back and forth. Shouts out to James Harden, and we're going to get into the Philly side in a second. But it just really puzzled me how they stayed away from Jaylen Brown at the end of this game, considering the effect that he had on this game. There was a quote, or there was a segment where in the press conference they asked him about what can he do to become more involved late in games. And you can see by his response that he really had to kind of like carefully choose his words and say he has to demand the ball more. But I kind of feel like on one instance, yeah, you do. But on another instance, as you know, one half of the foundation of this team, you shouldn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially considering that he's been their most consistent player, that he's shooting over 50% from the over 55% from the field. He's shooting over 50% from the three. I just feel like it was so many times where they were okay with Marcus Smart initiating offense in the pick and roll and shot creating. Malcolm Brogdon gunning down the court like a chicken with his head cut off, and he's turning the ball over, you know what I'm saying? And there was so many times where I just feel like they were not getting the best shot they could possibly get. Now, I'm not mad at Tatum getting the shots because they were switching Maxey onto him a lot, and you do want to expose that mismatch. But I do feel like that under no circumstance should you completely exclude your most consistent player from the final stretches of the game. And this is where it shows. At the end of the fourth quarter, it's down, you know what I'm saying? Mazzulla decides to let him play it out. No timeout is called. And Jason Tatum, he wants to initiate the offense. He initiates the offense. Now you drive and you kick it to Marcus Smart for a three. For the game, that's a couple steps outside of the three-point line. He misses. Okay, cool. You can live with that. It's not like you lose the game off this shot. We go into overtime. Me personally, I would like them to get a better shot than a Marcus Smart three-pointer 2-3 steps behind the three-point line. That's just me. But if that's the best shot available, then hey, I would have rather see Jason Tatum just be aggressive and try to get a bucket, personally. But they get their second, they'll get another shot. So you go through overtime, and I want to highlight one play specifically. Now, granted, to add some context, Al Horford from the fourth quarter on clamps on Joel Embiid. Clamps. Embiid didn't know what to do. He was turning the ball over. He's dribbling, doing spin moves on the pivot, not getting nowhere, not getting anywhere. He's not creating any offense for himself. He's smoking bunnies, you know what I'm saying? He's doing a bunch of nothing. And all credits to Al Horford because he locked up on defense. Now on this specific possession, the second to last possession of the game, you come out of the timeout. For whatever reason, you don't do this all game. For whatever reason, you decide to come out with Jason Tatum on Joel Embiid, and you have Jaylen Brown playing on Harden, which he's done majority of the game. They get the ball into the post to Embiid. Embiid tries to back down Tatum. Now, this is my grievance with Jaylen Brown. You're up 2 points. Why are you helping off of a shooter who got 40? A 2-point shot doesn't kill you. A three does. A three does. And he helped off of a 3-point shooter on the shortest three-pointer spot on the floor in the corner. Harden drains it. He made them all game. You have to have better play recognition than that if you're Jaylen Brown. You have to. And if you're Mazzulla, you have to understand that what's not broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Al Horford locked up Embiid the whole stretch of the game. You have no reason to remove him off of that matchup at this point. This is the biggest possession of the game. Why change now? I don't get it. Then you come down the court and you get the same situation again. You get to redeem yourself. Jason Tatum, you get a chance to, you got the ball in your hands. Game is winding down again. You drive to the rim and he does not look to score. You had Jaylen Brown in the corner. You could have done a DHO, whatever. You could have done anything to get a better shot than another Marcus Smart three-pointer, another Marcus Smart three-pointer, which you don't even get it off in time. You don't get a shot off. And for somebody who wants to get the ball late in the games, you have to get a bucket, bro. You have to get a bucket. If you consider the All-NBA, you're averaging 30 points this season, bro, and everybody raves about you, bro. In these moments, you cannot shy away from that. You got to get a bucket. Now for Philly, I want to try to keep this short. This is going on to this is on the way to being a long video, but fuck it. I got feelings, man. And for Philly, down the stretch of the game, number one, Embiid's lack of aggression. Al Horford played some great defense on him. Al Horford got a couple of blocks, forced a couple of turnovers. Embiid wanted no parts after that. He did not look to score. He was not aggressive. He got a couple of buckets, a little here and there, but ultimately had no real offensive impact on the game down the stretch of the game. Al Horford had him in clamps, and he didn't look interested in getting out of that. Now, to be the MVP, to be the best player on the team, the dominant force, bro, you can't allow that to happen. You can't allow that to happen, man. And they by the grace of the basketball gods, bro, was still able to get a win. You going back into Boston, it's two games apiece. Brand new series, it's a 3-game series now. So it's something, man. It's something, bro. Doc Rivers almost did it again, man. He almost had me in my Doc Rivers bag, but hey, folks saved him. Shouts out to the beard. To touch on this Denver game really quick, because I watched it. The first part of the game I did miss simply because I was streaming during that. But it's amazing to see the Suns doing this with two players. The Nuggets got beat in 2 games by 2 guys. You get 36 apiece from Booker and Durant. And for the Nuggets, it's when you look at the stats, it's hard to see how they lost this game. You get 53 and 11 from 11 assists from Jokic. You got 28, 7 assists, 5 rebounds from Murray. You need a little bit more from Michael Porter and 11 points and 10 rebounds. And there was a lot of times where Denver took the lead late in this game, and there was questionable shots being taken by Michael Porter Jr. One specifically being, I want to say it was a 1-possession game or something like that, off of a turnover or missed shot, and Michael Porter Jr. comes down and he shoots a pull-up three-pointer in transition where Ayton was trailing him, got a hand in his face, and he missed a shot. It was a terrible shot. And it seemed like that summed up their night. And Joker did everything he possibly could. I would like to see him have more than 4 rebounds. I don't really understand that. He was chilling on the glass, clearly. But Joker did everything that he could do for this team last night. 53 points. He didn't even play 40 minutes. He played 39 minutes, and they still somehow lost this game. So going into Denver, Mike Malone has to find a way to say, okay, you took the route of these 2 guys are going to have to beat us. All right, they beat y'all. And what really also killed them is 19 points from Landry Shamet is really what destroyed them. And I understand, you're going to say, all right, we're gonna give something to the other guys. We're gonna see if they can hit shots. After he hit a couple shots, you gotta look and say, all right, man, he's hitting shots. And every single shot he took, at least to me, it was wide open, no contest. And no matter how long these guys been on the bench, no matter how much these guys don't play, no matter how much you may look at them and say they're not like that, bro, these dudes is NBA players. And if you leave them open, bro, they bound to make one. And for Landry Shamet, he's been here before. He's experienced. This ain't new to him. And it's a shame to see their night be taken and their night be ended by Landry Shamet. Because that's ultimately what changed the game. And that's why role players in the playoffs are so important, because it's performances like that that really take you over the top, that really define a game for you, that really seal a game for you. And 19 points from Landry Shamet is what did it. They went to TJ Warren, they went to Terrence Ross. They haven't done that all series, you know? And they decided to go to some other guys to try to get some more offense, and it worked. They got 19 points from that boy. There was also, there was also a situation where the owner of the arena, or the owner of the team, got into a little scuffle, if you want to call it that, with Joker. Honestly, it was a situation that didn't even really need to happen, dude. I feel like the guy was trying to be a little bit too involved in the game. I get you're an owner, bro, but to me, when you're on the court, when you in that arena and you sitting in one of those seats, bro, you got to follow the same rules the rest of them fans in their arena do, man. And you can't keep the ball from being in play. You can't touch players. Just because you're an owner of the team, it's the same thing, bro. You cannot touch players. You shouldn't be keeping the ball from being put in play. You shouldn't be keeping the ball away from players, man. You know what I mean? That situation didn't have to happen, and it did. Joker gave him a little chicken wing, as my boy Kenny called it, and it created a little situation that I feel like is really unnecessary. Hopefully the NBA doesn't overreact to it. Hopefully they don't fine them, or they don't try to suspend them. At the end of the day, you got to protect the players, man. We have too many instances where fans or people in the arena they're exercising a little too much freedom, more freedom than they have, you know, and they shouldn't be in a position where they're touching players or interfering with a game that's going on. You feel me? So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not gonna blow that up. You know, this video is already at 17 minutes, so I'm gonna kind of cut it here. But man, it's just a whole lot of questionable stuff going on, man. For real, I'm not gonna lie, whole lot of questionable stuff going on. But end of the day, Boston and Philly, that game really left me feeling some type of way. Shouts out to Harden. Harden showed up for sure. Harden showed up. He did the damn thing. Boston, if for me looking at them, they have to do something about that late game execution. It wasn't good, you know. You can't go out with two timeouts in your pocket in a situation like that. When you get the exact same situation as the first overtime, that didn't help you. To Jason Tatum, if you're gonna want the ball in those moments, you gotta go get a bucket. You can't put the game in the hands of Marcus Smart not only once but twice. Second time, not even getting a shot off. Mazzulla, if you see something is developing and you don't like it, bro, call one of them timeouts. You feel me? They don't roll over into the next game. They gone after that. Use them. You know, use Jaylen Brown down the stretch. That's what you got him for. He shouldn't have to go out of his way to demand the ball just to be involved. You feel me? He does have to demand the ball at times, but it shouldn't be a thing where he has to just to see the ball. You know, that's ridiculous to me. I feel like he shouldn't have to go out of his way to be involved in the offense. But Marcus Smart can run around shooting step backs all game. Nah, I don't understand that. But hey, man, at the end of the day, that series is tied 2-up. Denver and Phoenix is tied 2-up. We got Miami game 6 coming up. We got game 5? I said game 6. Game 5. We got Miami game 5 coming up. We got Golden State Lakers game 5 coming up. Hopefully, you know, the Warriors can find a way to get a W. Go back to Chase Center tied up, but we gonna see, man. But this is a long one, bro. I had a lot of stuff to get off my chest today. I might try to edit it down. I might just post it like this. Who knows? But if you stuck through this whole time, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for staying tuned in and staying tapped in, bro. As always, tap the like, tap the subscribe, man. Comment, let me know what y'all think. We gonna keep on keeping on, man. And get ready for some more playoffs tonight, bro. Y'all be easy.